Hey y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get into a Jupiter in Gemini pick a card reading. So go ahead, pick a card, pick a crystal, whatever you feel drawn to. So for card number one here, we have the blue. Actually, this might be my smoky quartz. So for card number one, we have smoky quartz. For card number two, we have the clear crystal quartz. For card number three, we have citrine. And for card number four, we have amethyst. So go ahead in the comments, drop the crystal you selected or the card number, whatever you're vibing with. And we're going to go ahead and tap into these messages for the Jupiter and Gemini transit, which just began here this past Saturday, I believe, and will be with us until, I believe, April of next year. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, for those of you that chose card number one, the smoky quartz crystal, your animal spirit guidance for the Jupiter and Gemini transit is the tarantula, okay? So for some of you, there's an element of fire here that is at play. I don't know, I could be talking to a fire sign out there, but this is an invitation for you to tap into some of those qualities associated with that element, inspiration, creativity, willpower, drive, okay? So when we're talking about the tarantula here, they represent being at a crossroad and claiming your life purpose, which is something that Jupiter transits can definitely help us kind of tap into, okay? It gives us the opportunity to take a look at the bigger picture, and how we're really like impacting the world, the people around us on a deeper level, okay? So for you all that chose card number one, the smoky quartz crystal, this is a year where there is going to be a big focus on you maybe venturing into new territory when it comes to your life purpose, with you potentially being at a crossroads. Some of you could definitely be pivoting when it comes to your purpose. So if you have been feeling inspired to explore a new lane for yourself, this is definitely the confirmation for you to do so. You want to really be tapped into your instincts, okay? That's kind of what I associate with as the intuition for fire signs, instinct, okay? And I feel like our instincts are a form of intuition, so maybe they are just words that can kind of be used interchangeably. But for those of you that chose card number one, there's really a need for you to trust your instincts, trust your intuition, trust the sudden inspirations, let's go in this direction. It feels really good. I'm also hearing, what's that game? Is it Marco Polo? I don't know, where they say you're getting warmer, or colder, colder. I don't know if they use that for Marco Polo or what game. I can't remember from childhood, but I'm getting that type of vibe with your reading, card number one, that it's like you're getting warmer when it comes to your life purpose. And even just the element of heat, when we think about that too, what does it do? It warms things, right? So there can be an element of, things kind of heating up for you with this Jupiter in Gemini transit, but like in a good way, as mentioned, where you're feeling a lot more motivated. You're feeling led by inspiration, by purpose, by your own inner wisdom that is going to be expanding here with Jupiter in Gemini. This is going to be an opportunity for you to get into like a better communication with your intuition. Gemini is the zodiac sign that's associated with communication. And, you know, not just how we communicate with others, but how we're communicating with ourselves, with our intuition. It has a voice, it has a way that it kind of expresses itself. Yes, expression is a good word. So for those of you that chose card number 1, I'm getting a message that you're learning how your intuition expresses itself. Even just thinking about, you know, tarantulas, spiders in general, I feel like they're very sensitive, like to their environments and the things going on in their environments. So that too could be like something that you are noticing about yourself during this Jupiter in Gemini transit. You may start to feel literally more sensitive, feel more of the energies in your environment. You know, that's that saying, read the room or whatever. So some of you are going to be become masters of reading the room. Even when it comes to your life purpose, as you're on this journey of maybe pivoting or going deeper into your purpose, there's also an element of you inspiring others to like tap into their purpose too. So, and that's even when we go back to the element of fire, right? Fire has the energy or has the capability to like consume everything very quickly as well. Okay. Like you think about a forest fire or something where it was just contained to this one small area, and then now the whole forest is like been burned down. So same here, but we're using fire in a more constructive way to, you know, light people up, to inspire people, to motivate people. So that can definitely be something that you guys are doing as well. So I love the recommendation for the tarantula animal spirit to kind of keep your energy in balance. And when you do get out of balance, how you know you are getting into that space, you'll start to hesitate, overthink. As I mentioned, you know, your big focus is connecting to your instincts. And just like an animal has instincts, it's just sharp. It's just like, boom, there you go. Like they're not thinking about it. It's literally just something that they're feeling, they're experiencing. So I just heard my spidey senses are tingling. So some of you, I don't know if you were like Spider-Man fans or some shit. But yeah, you're definitely going to get in like your Spider-Man mode. I actually just watched this movie. Was it Madame Web or some shit? I don't know. Like I was just randomly watching something on Netflix. I don't know what it was on. So, you know, for those of you that associate with being feminine, maybe you want to check out that movie. I don't know. I had seen the preview and I saw like Sydney Sweeney was in it. I think that's her name. So I was just like, oh, let me check this out, see what this is about. But yeah, like some of you might want to check out that movie. What was I saying? Oh yes. So you'll know when you're getting out of balance, when you're hesitating, when you're overthinking, over intellectualizing, you know, trying to be a little too logical, rational. So a way that you can bring your energy into balance, card number 1, is through daily journaling, okay? Because you might be very cerebral, so I could actually be talking to an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So you do have the tendency to overthink your moves and what you should be doing and maybe what you should be saying. And there's a need for you to, for there to be more of a flow. I heard masking. Some of you might be, look, I'm not a doctor. Do not use this as an opportunity to diagnose yourself. You need to go see a professional. But some of you might be, what is it, neurodivergent? I don't know, like on the autism spectrum or something like that. And my apologies, by no means am I trying to be offensive if I'm using words incorrectly. But yes, like there could be something like that going on here too, where maybe you have been masking a lot throughout your life. And it's kind of, you know, unfortunately, you haven't been able to just be yourself, right? Because you've had to kind of tiptoe around, you know, everybody else's maybe neurotypical kind of ways of doing things. This is interesting, very interesting message that I'm picking up on here. So some of you could be like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not masking anymore. Now, I don't know if it just like works like that. Like I said, I'm not super familiar, you know, if that's something that you can consciously do, or if that is something that is a bit more of an unconscious thing for some. But that could be something you're exploring, what it looks like when you unmask, what it feels like when you are unmasked as well. So journaling for some of you maybe is a way to like unmask, you know, where you might not feel like I can really just be myself, you know, around people and stuff. But I can be myself with this journal and this pen. So I know for me, that was a big part of the reason why I got into journaling and just valued it so much since I was like in the 6th grade. So I have like a collection of probably like 30 plus journals just documenting my life, you know, since I was fucking 12 years old. So that might be something that, you know, some of you could benefit from, especially for those of us that feel misunderstood for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be on the autistic spectrum or any of this, you know, you could be a neurotypical person and still feel like you, I don't know, can't be yourself. You know, I do feel like that's something that a lot of people grapple with, because there's just so many like, just like images of, you know, or ideas of who we should be. Like it's a lot. So I'm getting that those of you that chose this card though, you're unburdening yourself from like society's expectations and the boxes that they try to place you in and all of that stuff. Okay, we have patience here coming through as your soul's journey lesson here for Jupiter and Gemini. So I accept that everything happens in divine order, right? I heard your steps are ordained. So someone out there watching, you might come from like a Christian background, or, you know, be Christian or whatnot. I totally feel like this is just my personal opinion. You know, if you found yourself in this space as a Christian person, you're more than welcome to be here. You know, that's between you and God at the end of the day. So, yeah, somebody, I don't know, maybe you, oh, it's not Sunday today. I'm like, and somebody's just like wrapping up church or something like that. I'm even getting, maybe you just wrapped up reading some scripture, or what's it called, a devotional, whatever. Okay. But I heard that very specifically. So somebody could have just like read that, or someone could have heard that your steps are divinely ordered. Okay. That might be a prayer of yours that you want to start kind of incorporating into your life, especially during this Jupiter in Gemini transit, where, you know, I was just doing a little more research on the astrology of this the other day. And honestly, like the best month that we're going to get out of this transit is in June. It actually, we're going to have some squares with Saturn and Pisces throughout like the summer. I think moving into the fall and stuff like that, which are going to make the transit a little more challenging, where you do have to put in a bit more work, where you do have to be a bit more patient, you know, with the results. And that's something that, you know, just from my own studies, that, you know, I guess a theory, that with Jupiter transits, it's usually not until the transit is over that you actually reap the fruits of that specific transit. So right now, what some of you might be seeing, that now that we've wrapped up the Jupiter and Taurus transit, you might be reaping the benefits from that transit. Whereas for Jupiter and Gemini, so check Taurus, what, you know, the Taurus placement in your house, or what house you have Taurus in, because that's going to give you insight into, you know, where you might be getting blessed here right now or in the near future. But when it comes to Jupiter and Gemini, it might not be until I think like next spring, summer, where you will experience more of the benefits of that one too. As mentioned, some of you in June, if you know, take advantage of this energy, you could experience some blessings kind of coming in pretty quickly. So this would once again go hand in hand with that message of trusting your instincts and, you know, not overthinking things. There could be something that you're working on where there is like an element of time just kind of being of the essence, and, you know, you needing to get to work, do what you need to do, roll up your sleeves, okay? Maybe for some of you, you might have just been patient for a little too long, where you're kind of just waiting on the sidelines for a sign, for something to, you know, kind of transpire for you in a major way. But, you know, sometimes, once again, going back to the intuition, it's about trusting your inner voice, trusting yourself, and not being so caught up in, you know, the signs outside of you, what's going on outside of you, right? So that is something to keep in mind here for those of you that chose card number 1, okay? So don't wait on the sidelines too long, you know, waiting on what? Your life to basically pass you by. So that is something to kind of keep in mind for those of you that chose card number 1, okay? Let's see what archetype is coming through for you in this upcoming Jupiter in Gemini transit here. So your archetype, ooh, we have the crone, okay? So if you're familiar with like the I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's called the Trinity per se, but the maiden, mother, and crone kind of Trinity vibe that they have going on there. So you guys have the crone coming through, which is definitely more of that. It's associated kind of with the older women, the wise woman, essentially. So there's an element of wisdom, once again, that's very important for you, what you're developing here in this upcoming year. As I mentioned, you know, wisdom when it comes to how your intuition is communicating to you, okay? That is an area where you're going to experience a lot of growth. For some of you, I don't know, what is this, like a raven? I don't know what specific bird that is, but that too could be something that is significant for you, okay? We have this little 6-pointed star down here. I think is that associated with Jewish peoples or something like that. So I don't know if someone's watching this is like Jewish, right? But yes, this is an opportunity for you. Bird's eye view is something that I'm getting as well. So as I was saying, you know, these transits, Jupiter in Gemini, gives us an opportunity to look at things from a bigger picture, okay? That might be where the patience is coming in for you all, because you are seeing things from a bigger picture. So you're recognizing like the saying goes, like Rome wasn't built overnight. So some of you could be in the process of, like, I don't know, building an empire, building like a corporation. Maybe you're scaling your business or something like that. And yeah, you're very much in that space of just kind of looking at the bigger picture. And, you know, as mentioned, your steps are divinely ordered, so you're just kind of trusting in the timing and how things are playing out here. Let me see, before I get an affirmation, I actually do want to take a look into the book for a little more insight about this crone energy. I don't use this deck too often, but I do want to make sure that I kind of touch on everything here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we are. Yes, I love it. So the crone is the witch, the old woman, the sage. All right, so some of you might associate yourself with those titles, okay? So the crone, she's seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She's the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of the maiden mother crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life, and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us. though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. I think that's how that's pronounced. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. Oh, that is so powerful. I want to read that again. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. Okay, so that's what's unfolding for you this year, like big crone energy. Okay, so when you know the crone is in balance, she's magical. He or she, whatever you identify as, they're magical, clairvoyant, psychic, intuitive, and wise. But when that shadow side comes out, they're vindictive, bitter, isolated, and ostracized. Okay, so if you want to learn more about the crone archetype, you can study certain figures, spiritual figures, mythical figures. We have Dumavati, Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith. Okay, I personally learned about Lilith when I really first got into like tarot and stuff. My very first tarot deck was it's like the mythical goddess deck or something like that. And the Lilith card is associated with the Emperor, which is, Aries. And for those of you that know me, I'm an Aries sun, so I'm definitely that's my card there. So I've really felt connected like to that Lilith energy and just kind of learning more too, just about the mythology behind Lilith. It's very enlightening. So some of you might be interested in checking, doing some research, learning more about some of these figures. Okay, so I love this crone energy coming through. Some of you might be in a position where you're teaching others, where you're guiding them spiritually, mentoring them. That's why I was saying, okay, some of you could be creating like a community, a spiritual community. You could be building that. Okay, so your affirmation here for this upcoming Jupiter in Gemini transit: I am kind and loving towards others while creating clear boundaries that protect my good feeling emotions. I love that. Protecting those good feeling emotions. Okay, so this is really important too. Not only is Jupiter, about expansion, growth, fortune, things like that. Jupiter is one of the benefic planets. I like to call it Jupiter the jovial. Okay, so Jupiter is very, upbeat, positive, optimistic. It is the ruling planet of Sagittarius, okay, as well as Pisces, which both can be very like idealistic, optimistic, like kind of zodiac signs. Okay, so it's really important too. Jupiter is also the planet of excess. Okay, so this is a time where we can indulge a little too much. And in your case, indulging in other people's business is what I'm getting, a little too much, to the point where you're not clear on where you begin and end, where someone else begins. And some of you are a little enmeshed here when it comes to some of the emotional bonds that you have with people. It's one thing to be compassionate for others, but it's another thing to be absorbing people's energy and emotions to the point that it's affecting your emotions and your mental well-being and even your physical well-being. It can start to take a toll on you in that way. So it's really important that some of you start to practice more clear boundaries here. It's okay to not want to be everybody's counselor. I'm getting, because I do see that many of you might be like spiritually advanced or something like that. Even doesn't even have to be spiritually. It can be emotionally, because some of you, I don't know, watching this could be like a therapist, a counselor, a coach. It's like you help others, you assist others in some capacity. So that could even bleed over into a lot of your personal relationships too. And it's like, whoa there. Okay, like this work that I'm doing, like with you, I have people paying me like to do this. And it's one thing, you do want to be supportive of people in your life, your personal connections, but there are boundaries with that for sure. And it is not your job to be your friend's therapist, even if they don't have the resources for a therapist. Like, you have every right to be like, yo, this is how I can show up for you. This is the capacity that I can show up for you in. You know, whatever else you might need, you might need to find from somebody else, you know, and it's no beef, but I know what I can show up as. And I think that's something that you guys are getting a lot more clear on here this year as well. And doing so without like a lot of maybe, you know, having to work through a little bit of guilt, but I think you're going to get to the other side of it, especially with that crone energy. As mentioned, there's this dissolving of these very polar type of ideas, good and bad, right and wrong. You're not going to be feeling like a bad person for setting boundaries. You're not going to be feeling wrong for setting boundaries. Like that shit, by the time you're done with this Jupiter and Gemini transit, it's just going to be a thing. Like I say, it just is. It's neither good or bad or right or wrong. You setting boundaries for yourself, like that's just you and your ego mind going into that judgment mode and all of that. And it's like, yo, we can do this without all of that. You know, a boundary for me, you know, is very clear. Like when a boundary has been crossed, I feel very uncomfortable. It's just that simple. I feel uncomfortable in somebody's presence. I don't like the way they're talking to me, you know, the way they're treating me or whatever it is. It feels really uncomfortable. And then I speak on it and then we move the fuck on. Either they respect the boundary or they don't. If they don't respect it, then I'm not fucking with them. It's that simple. So, some of you are going to be moving through situations like this where you're not going to be overthinking it, even when it comes to standing up for yourself. Maybe your instincts at certain points have told you, yo, speak the fuck up. Like, you know, stand up, sis, or bro, or whatever. Like, and you haven't been. But some of you, especially speaking about speaking up, Jupiter, planet of expansion, growth in Gemini, the sign of communication. So you are going to be growing when it comes to the way that you communicate yourself, the way that you communicate your boundaries. All right. Your idea of that is evolving. Some of you have been conditioned to believe that it's selfish to have boundaries. Or it's not godly to have boundaries or something. Like, what? Like, people be out here completely exhausted, depleted, and defeated because they don't have boundaries. Don't be that person, okay? You know, speaking of boundaries too, I'm getting a big emphasis of the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra right now, okay? That spectrum right there is very much, you know, about boundaries. Like they say, you can't spell boundaries without Aries, right? And with the North Node being in Aries, we're actually meant to move in the direction of being more assertive when it comes to our boundaries. And assertion, you know, assertiveness isn't a bad thing. A lot of people, though, they have a very negative response to assertive people. There's a difference between being assertive and being mean or, you know, harmful, abusive, totally different things. But we have been conditioned to believe, especially, you know, if you identify as a woman, we have been conditioned to believe that being assertive is like unladylike. The crone, that goes back to the crone. The crone doesn't give a fuck about conventions, about what a woman, a lady should do, how she should behave, all of these things. The crone, she's lived that. She's already gone through that fucking hell, that goddamn prison of feeling like, you know, you have to be you know, just this certain kind of way to, you know, be a woman, to be a lady or whatever. The crone's like, yeah, fuck all that. And that's a scam, you know, that's a scam that we have been sold. And yeah, like some of you that chose this card, you're like, fuck that scam. I'm over it. Let's pull some tarot cards, get a little more insight. Yeah, you know, like when you're thinking about the mother maiden crone or maiden mother crone trifecta, the maiden definitely doesn't have boundaries. She's a child, so she's still kind of trying to learn that. Then the mother, might tend to lose her sense of boundaries in motherhood, where she's like giving and pouring and always, it's always about the sacrifice and about everybody else, right? And then when she gets to the crone phase, she's raised her children up or whatever. She's like, hey, wait, actually, this is about me, okay? So I'm getting a return to self coming through as well. Let's see, what do we have coming through? Spirit, give us a little more insight from the tarot for those that chose card number 1, the smoky quartz here that we have. Some of you might even want to use this crystal as well. It's something to be considerate of here, okay? So let's see. We have the strength card. Love it. Okay, so some of you, I did mention fire sign energy. Some of you could be a Leo watching this, but this is also this energy of patience, okay, that is being kind of clarified, emphasized for those of you that chose this deck. Once again, this is about kind of seeing the bigger picture that's involved here, but also there's an element of courage, okay, associated with the strength card. Digging down deep within the heart space, right? Finding the courage within to live your truth, to live in your purpose, right? That's where some of you are being guided, to kind of embrace this in this upcoming year. Also, August could be a really specific or important time frame for you within this Jupiter in Gemini transit, okay? Particularly like the Leo season part of our August, okay? So we also have the Hierophant, okay? 2 major arcana in a row coming out. So this is all about structure, order, tradition. I did mention for some of you too, spiritual leadership, okay? So this may be something that you're kind of in the process of developing yourself, you becoming that spiritual leader, maybe becoming a priest or priestess, depending on your pastor, whatever it is, okay? A shaman. This is just someone that definitely, they got their credentials, they got their experience, they've got the knowledge, the wisdom, all the things, okay? So some of you are definitely in the space of developing this within yourself. And as mentioned, be patient. The Hierophant is associated with Taurus, which is an earth sign, right? And, as we know, earth is one of the slower moving elements within, of the elements, okay? So with that being said, you got to take your time. You got to take your time with this. You got to take your time with what you're learning, with what you're studying, with, what you're growing into here, with this Hierophant energy. For some of you, like I said, you could very well be building an empire. This is not the emperor per se, which I would associate with that. But, the Hierophant is still very much, someone that is leading a group of people, leading a corporation, a team, whatever, okay? A spiritual community, as I was mentioning for some of you. There is an element of courage that I'm seeing is needed, leadership that is needed here for those of you that chose card number 1, 2 of Cups, okay? We do have some... I love this. Yeah. Okay. So usually I was gonna read this as a relationship card, but it's not how I'm really seeing this. Although, your relationships are important, especially if you are leading something, clearly you'll be connecting with other people. But I'm seeing this as the merging of the maiden and the mother, as mentioned, to kind of create this third entity, which is the crone here. So for some of you, there is like a merging of, these 2 energies coming into balance here. You've kind of had these experiences in life. Maybe you've learned a lot, through your time of being a maiden, of being a mother, and now you're like, okay, what's next for me? Okay, what does my life look like, now that I, have gone through these experiences? Even if you're not a mother, I'm getting like, you still might be in that mother archetype, okay, where you're in a space of nurturing things in your life, nurturing your career, nurturing, your friends, your community, your finances, things of that nature, where, you've kind of created a greater sense of stability and security for yourself. So I do see some of you wondering like, okay, well, what's next? What's after this? For some of you, what is after this could very well be a relationship with the Two of Cups. It could be you coming together as well. Oh, look at the birds on both. So the birds are very significant. I don't know if this is a falcon. I'm not sure. But for some of you, you could be connecting with someone who is also in like this crone vibe. And men, this can definitely apply to men as well, okay? The names might just kind of change a little bit, but you could be connecting with someone that is also in this phase of their life, and it's like, wow, about damn time someone finally comes in and is kind of at my level. And it doesn't just have to be romantic. It could be platonic, it could be professional, whatever, okay? But there can be a soul that's coming in. The Two of Cups is like a soulmate's union here. So this can be what's happening between you and this individual, all right? Now, we also have the Eight of Pentacles coming through. So this is about dedication, discipline, routine, rituals, really getting the hang of things. As I mentioned, kind of being patient with what you're learning, how you're developing and growing here with the Eight of Pentacles. I'm definitely seeing something about like a ritual or something. So this could be like a spiritual practice of some sort that you're getting into on a more consistent basis. This could be something as simple as meditating. I even suggested journaling for some of you too. So, whatever it is that you do, it is important for you to get into a regular practice of this. I also see some of you, because you're going to be setting more clear boundaries with the people in your life and maybe not investing as much emotionally as you previously have, you're going to have a lot more energy for your work, for your career, your finances, your business, whatever it is that you're developing and growing, you're actually going to have more capacity for it. Some of you are going to start to finally experience more progress in this area, more growth, because your energy is not so like split and scattered, amongst so many different people and situations and whatnot. Okay. So it's like you're finally getting into a bit of a groove here for you. And it does seem to be beneficial when it comes to, career, finances, business. Underneath the deck, to kind of wrap up our message for those of you that chose card number 1, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is kind of like the overall theme here for you, overarching theme for Jupiter and Gemini. And for you, it is about moving on, moving away from things that you've outgrown, essentially. And, I've been emphasizing Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion. And if we feel like we've gotten a little stagnant, a little stuck in a cycle, whatever the case may be, this is definitely going to be a transit that frees up your energy, that really allows you to move forward without, feeling a lot of resistance, without feeling a lot of heaviness behind it. The Eight of Cups is being able to release something without, oh, this is just so sad. And I'm just like, she's got her arm kind of flexed up here. Like, yeah, you damn right, I'm moving on. You damn right, I'm not going to be, caught up in other people's drama and chaos all the damn time. You damn right, I'm creating a little more, space for myself. Yeah, the Eight of Cups is very much a journey of solitude too. I don't know, we've got this full moon here in the background. Some of you might start working with the moon or feeling a little more connected or drawn to the moon, which is a very receptive energy. And some of you, I get that you are very much givers. So that may be where you're needing to find a little more balance as well, is, actually being in connections that water you, that fortify you, that give to you. And if you're dealing with connections that aren't, I see many of you are choosing to walk away from them. And even if that means you have to, journey alone for a little while, so be it. I do want to encourage you that this Eight of Cups does eventually lead to the Ten of Cups. Okay. So if you are going through like relationship changes, during any part of this transit here, you're meant to go through them. They are divinely ordained. Okay, like I was saying earlier, your steps are divinely ordained. Even those steps that might be taking you away from certain people, environment, situations, is for the best. This is for your growth, your expansion, and just your overall evolution here. Okay, so for those of you that chose card number 1, if this resonated at all, leave me a like, comment below, let me know what resonated with you the most. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye. Hi, for those of you that chose card number 2, the clear crystal quartz. All right, let's see what your animal spirit guidance is for this Jupiter and Gemini transit. Oh, you have the otter. Okay, so one thing I know about otters, they're so playful, they're so fun. And I mean, we are talking about Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is a really fun zodiac sign. Okay, so this is a time where you're really being invited to just kind of have a lighter spirit, to lighten up, have more fun, have more playtime. For some of you, this could very much be a time where your inner child is like alive and well, it's thriving. This might even be a more sociable transit for you as well, which would make sense. Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini, which is one of the more expressive, communicative zodiac signs. They very much do like interacting with others, learning from others through their interactions, potentially even collaborating, whether this is creatively or whether it's with your business. This could be a really good time where you're kind of like joining like-minded people, people that are in a similar vibe as you, where it's just like, yeah, we just want to enjoy life and, good vibes, all that type of thing. Okay. So the personality traits associated with the otter are unobstructed joy, playfulness, and contentment. Okay, so I love it. There's also a sense of you just being happy. Maybe I get with Jupiter and Gemini, there's a simplification of your life that is taking place. So maybe you are like weeding out things that have become a little too complicated, maybe a bit toxic, things that are kind of bringing you down energetically, emotionally, mentally, whatever the case. Okay. You're just like, look, I really don't want to deal with this anymore. As I mentioned, there is a focus on your inner child too, and maybe even protecting that inner child, by I'm drawn to this like kind of circle. It almost looked like an orb of protection around the otter. So you may feel like, yeah, I do need to protect this part of me, this innocence, kind of, naive, maybe even a little bit part of you that's really just trying to have a good time. Okay. When I said that naive part, it kind of set with me for a reason. I'm getting that some of you have had interactions with people that actually think you're naive, but you're not. Okay. They see you as being like very childlike, so they have misconstrued that for naivete to the point where they might have even like taken advantage of you, or thought they could, because I'm getting like you guys are a lot more sharp than people kind of give you credit for, because you are someone that maybe exudes a lot of joy and positivity, and you seem like really open, and some people kind of see that as you being impressionable, or I'm getting green, when people say you're a little green, right? You're kind of inexperienced in this world and stuff, and that's not the case. I think people got it severely twisted because I feel like some of you have already learned a lot of hard lessons about how people really are in life. Especially being someone that does have more of a childlike essence about you. You do have to kind of move through life with a little more discernment, okay? But that discernment doesn't stop your joy at all, your happiness or anything like that. So, I am, yeah, for some reason was getting a message of people maybe misinterpreting you. Okay. These colors, it's kind of like the blues, the greens, the yellows. So for me, that's emphasizing your throat, heart, and solar plexus chakras, which are all lined up, connected there. So there's something about you really needing to work with those specific chakras. The heart is the center, is the bridge there too between the upper and the lower chakras. So yeah, that's really interesting. There's something about you crossing a bridge or merging a bridge, something like that. Maybe merging bridges, as mentioned, with other like-minded people, like-hearted people, that are also very connected, like to their inner child. Um, to this sense of creativity, curiosity is very lighthearted. It feels good. Okay. So when the otter is in balance, it is full of love and needs absolutely nothing. Okay. When out of balance, the otter feels gloomy, makes silly excuses. They sigh a lot, like, right? I'm just like, okay, otter. So when you're in that space, at any point during this Jupiter and Gemini transit, the way that you can bring yourself into balance is by dancing, okay, going to a party or celebrating, okay. Sometimes you can celebrate by yourself. Sometimes you are the party. I'm getting, for many of you, this upcoming year, where the way you're expanding is socially. It's like you're becoming the life of the party is something that I'm getting. If you're not that already, you're going to become that here. Like over this next year, you could be growing in like popularity. And that goes back to that message, as I was saying, a lot of people are going to be attracted to you. Not all of them are going to have the best intentions. Okay. Some people are definitely looking at you like you're green, like you can be taken advantage of, manipulated, whatever. Okay. And that's not the case. You guys are, like I said, you're a lot more sharp than maybe some people give you credit for. Okay. So it's really important for you to just kind of keep this in mind as you are navigating, new relationships, as you are kind of expanding more socially. There are going to be a lot of people that want to just be in your energy because you are radiating. When you are a joyful person, you glow. There is a glow about you. It's undeniable, and people, just like a moth to a flame, they want to be near you. They want to be in your orbit, but everybody can't be there. Okay. Everybody can't be there, because I heard negative Nancy too. Like there could be someone coming around, like I said, they looking at you like you green or some shit. And I get the only people that look at you that way is not the people that are like you, okay? Like these other childlike people. No, it's the people that are very disconnected from that aspect of themselves. It is the people out here that, are unfortunately trying to cause harm. They perpetuate these ideas that, even these ideas of these like power dynamics between like children and adults, right? There's so much that's coming through in this reading. Wow, let me kind of ground myself here for a second, because I get that some of you, that might be an area of contention for you is like a relationship with a parent figure. That maybe they try to like siphon your joy in some capacity. Okay, I'm getting a lot of messages. If they didn't try to siphon your joy, this was someone who always needed to be the center of attention, is something that I'm getting. This is someone who, some of you had a parent who always needed to be like the main character, the life of the party. I'm not going to diagnose anyone as narcissistic, but maybe you might have a parent that has some narcissistic tendencies or traits, okay? And you throughout life, you internalize like kind of being in the background, or not taking up too much space because this parent needed to be the one that I heard. Some of you have a parent that was the golden child of their family. So they kind of never really grew out of that. So even, in their own family dynamic with their own kids, they felt like they still had to be the golden child. That's really interesting. They need to go talk that out with a therapist, because yeah, the way they might have kind of showed up in your life, it has kind of inhibited the way that you take up space, that you shine. Maybe, in moments where you did attempt to shine, this parent or caregiver, they could have like brushed it off. Oh, whatever, that ain't that cool. Little shit like that they could have said to you, which is very sad when you think about like an adult saying that to a child. But yeah, I get that you could have had a parent like that, which ultimately this parent, and I'm not trying to come down on them or anything, but they're really insecure. I get they have like a lot of childhood wounds themselves, that they have not addressed, and it definitely has impacted your relationship with them, but also the way that you kind of show up in the world. Yeah, you might have people in your life, not even just family or parents. This could be a pattern that has played out for you, where you've had friends that, it's kind of like they trying to rain on your parade, and people that might not like to see you happy. Like, So that's why I was picking up on like a lot of solo celebrations. Yeah, like, or maybe smaller celebrations where you might have a few people there, but those few people are really solid. I think sometimes we get so caught up in like the numbers and the quantity, and I want to fill a whole room. I want a big ass party of everybody like celebrating me, whoopty woo. Some people have those things. Those are great. But, sometimes you got to take into consideration too. Like, okay, just because somebody has a lot of people around them doesn't mean that they're necessarily close to all of these people, because that's humanly impossible to be close to fucking 50 people. But yeah, so I think some of you need to kind of recognize that too. Like maybe you have like a smaller group of friends or people that support you or whatever, but I get that they're really solid though. And once again, going back to them being like-hearted, these are people that are very similar to you, okay? So we do have the element of change coming through as the soul's journey lesson that you're learning with this Jupiter and Gemini transit. So, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movements, okay? So things are changing for you. People around you, as mentioned, you could be distancing yourself from people that just bring you down. Like I said, the negative Nancy's, the frenemies, the open haters, behind the door, hater, whatever. You're just like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I'm going to go surround myself with people that are on a similar wavelength. Okay. For some of you as well, maybe you're experiencing some changes within your energy during this Jupiter and Gemini transit, where maybe you've been taking life really seriously. Things might have been a bit more heavy and gloomy for you, but now you're shifting into a space where you're feeling recharged, revitalized, motivated, and ready to have fun. Like, you guys are so ready to have fun. I don't know if you've come out of like a period of depression possibly or something, but it's just like, man, it's like you ready to get outside. Is definitely what I'm seeing here. Okay, so I love to see it for you. We do have, keep in mind, Jupiter, it's in Gemini, which is a mutable zodiac zodiac sign, which is very much about change, okay? That is the way that you're going to grow and expand. For those of you that chose card number 2, the crystal clear quartz, your growth happens through change, okay? So, you know, any opportunities that come up for you within this transit to try something different, move in a new direction, you want to go with it, okay? And you want to embrace it like it's an adventure, like it's something new, like this is fun. So, you know, kind of having that childlike curiosity is going to be very important for those of you that chose card number 2, in maybe easing some of the nerves that come with changing, right? Because change, it can bring up different emotions for different people. And some people, they do not like change, okay? And, you know, maybe for good reason. But there's a growth that's taking place within you, card number 2 this year, where you are actually going to be embracing change a little bit more than usually. There's going to be joy behind like some of these changes that are happening for you. Okay. So the celebration awaits. I don't know. Like, look, some of you, it might be a good idea to start celebrating in advance for, you know, maybe some of these blessings that are going to be coming into your life during this Jupiter and Gemini transit. Let's see what your archetype oracle is for this upcoming transit here as well. Okay, we have the Seed. Ooh, this is a cool card too. Looks like a little maze or something. So we have the Seed coming through as your archetype. So this is the transit, the year where you are planting a seed for something to grow, okay? As mentioned, we do have change here that's on the horizon for you. So some of you are shifting into a new direction. Astrologically, I would encourage you to look into your natal chart. Where is Gemini at in your chart? That is where Jupiter is going to be for you until next spring. This is also going to be the area of life where you're going to be planting the seed and, you know, watering it so that it grows into something. Usually it's after the transit, so it'll probably be next spring with whatever you're starting now, you know, and kind of shifting into. You'll see its fullness more moving into next spring, okay? Don't let that deter you or anything like that. You know, just like with the plants or with a garden, you know, those things take time. They don't just grow overnight. So the same thing pertains to your dreams, right? Your goals in life, the things that you aspire to manifest for yourself, okay? These things are going to take time, all right? I don't know if this is actually a seed. It looks like a little pearl to me, so there could be something significant about pearls for you. Let's see. I want to pull up the description here in the book because I want to make sure I cover everything. These cards go into a lot of depth. Yes, so the seed is associated with the beginning, the origin, and the pearl, okay? So beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there is potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides, usually resulting in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. I love that message. That's so powerful. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. So with that being said, Some of you come from the gutter, okay? Like I'm getting like the rolls from the concrete type of situation, you know, where you might have gone through some things in your life. I'm getting people wouldn't be able to tell though, like by how you look, by how you carry yourself with so much joy. People would not know the half of the shit that you have either gone through in life or that you are going through, right? But you wear it with a smile on your face and joy in your heart, okay? I just heard spiritual warrior. You know, that is what some of you are, you know, to be able to maintain this love in your heart and this just good energy despite the shit that you've gone through in life. That really says a lot about who you are, not even just as a human, but as a spirit, okay? It's just like you are powerful, you're unbreakable. You know, you can't be stopped. There's something about you that is like unstoppable, and it really is because of your spirit. Your spirit cannot be broken. You know, a spirit isn't confined by the limitations of the human body. You are not confined by the limitations of your human body. Some of you, when you walk into a motherfucking room, you light the whole room up. That's how, like, that's how much you glowing. That's how bright it is. That's how deep your love runs. Like, people that say like they can't feel like love when it's like emanating like outside of their bodies, and maybe it's because I'm into the spiritual woo and I've been developing myself and just more conscious of these things. I can literally feel when the love is radiating out of my fucking heart. I can feel it like coming from out of my heart like a fucking ray of sunshine or some shit, and it's just like out there, boom. So some of you literally have that in you. The pearl is in you. Your light, you know, that has gotten just so much brighter, so much more luminous, you know, because of the shit that you had to go through. You would not be shining as brightly as you are if you didn't go through the shit that you've gone through. So a lot of people need to have a fucking shift in their consciousness, you know, thinking that people that are walking around with a smile on their face and joy in their heart all the time just have life so easy. Like, no, I think people got it twisted. Like, they don't really know what people like that have gone through or are dealing with in their lives, to where they can still, like, hey, you know, God is good. Life is good. You know, shit just is, you know, accepting of things, accepting of, you know, sometimes the very bad things in life that seem unfair and unjust, and why me? Like, I get that some of you that chose card number 2, you've had a lot of those situations in your life where it's just like, damn, why is it gotta happen to me? You know, some of you have even like maybe felt at certain points like, am I cursed? Like, you know, do I have bad luck? Like, what's going on here? But like, no, it's like that mind state, it doesn't stay with you for very long. Like, it's like very soon after you shift into, nah, you know, this does suck, you know, and you're not someone that's spiritually bypassing with fake positivity. This is not fake at all. This is very genuine. But, you know, you're able to acknowledge, yeah, things suck, but you're also able to acknowledge that, hey, you know, some things don't suck. Some things are good, you know, and some of you could just be choosing to kind of lean into that approach to life. It is very childlike, you know, as we would think of how children navigate life. You know, they're very not very conscious of all the bad in the world, right? And I get that you kind of have that mindset too. And it's not that you're not conscious, because you're an adult, so you're conscious of the bad things in the world, but you don't let yourself like get sucked into it to the point where, like I said, it's stinking up your aura and you just feel like, oh, the world is just terrible and nothing good comes from this stinking place. Like, yeah, you guys don't have that. It's kind of like a very defeatist mindset. You guys don't have that. That's why I was saying, like, there's something about you that's unstoppable, unbreakable, unshakable, unmoved, unbothered. Okay, you got 2 affirmations that came out for you. Okay, so you have, when I'm patient, I let the universe do for me what I cannot do for myself. I love that. Let the universe do the heavy lifting. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself, having a good time, you know, playing with your friends. You know, for some of you, this is going to be a really playful, like, summer for you. I see you being outside, maybe doing a lot of things you used to do as a kid. Yeah, and just letting the universe take care of the rest. We also have manifesting is the creative process of aligning with the energy of the universe to co-create an experience that elevates my spirit and the spirit of the world. Okay, that's powerful. All right, so as I mentioned, some of you have the light. Like when you walk in a room, your joy lifts up the fucking energy in the room. Your joy, I heard, it makes the darkness run. Okay, I don't really like using terms like demons and stuff like that because I don't, that's kind of Abrahamic. But yeah, like some of you, you know, that believe in that stuff, like you make them demons run the fuck away. And they're like, oh shit, like we don't want no smoke with you. Okay, like some of y'all got it like that. Okay, maybe it's not the demons necessarily, it's the shadow in other people too. Like you expose other people's shadow. You make them see themselves, things about themselves that they might not want to see either. Things that they've been ignoring, repressing, denying, whatever the case. When you come in, you shine a light on it. I'm hearing you shine the light on people's self-neglect. Okay, sometimes that can be kind of hard, like to see someone navigating through life, because like I said, we all know at this point life it can be very difficult and it can be really shitty. But I feel like there's someone that watches you navigate through the shittiness of life with a lot of grace. And not even just one person, it could be a lot of people that see you navigate through it with a lot of grace. And it might be something that they, you know, haven't been able to kind of extend to themselves yet, but you just kind of showing up as you do, you get to be an example of that too. Now, some people are going to take to you being the example and yeah, like, okay, I'm learning from you. And other people, it's going to trigger them and they're not really going to want to be taught this lesson. I heard to be taught this lesson specifically by you. So there could be something about you specifically that some people are just adverse to. And it's nothing personal. I mean, I'm sure you know everybody's not going to like you. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, it's like something, I don't know, something about you where people are like, oh, I don't want to take advice from you or whatever. Like, you know, like you grew up this way or you look like this or you have these opportunities. So why would I be taking any advice from you? You know, it could be someone that feels like, man, we just have had like two completely different experiences in life. So I ain't really trying to hear what you got to say, which that's actually a very stunted way to look at things, because if you're only learning from people like you, you're not really learning. You're just in an echo chamber of people like you. So you're probably going to be more stunted than you're really trying to be. So I get that there's, I don't know, it's someone specific or even just multiple people. So some of you might have a platform or something where you do share guidance, advice, whatever. And it's people that kind of want to discredit you, or really they're just getting in their own way. Like I said, they don't want to learn from you. I guess some of you might be like really young. And some people could be pulling like the ageism thing, like you just haven't had enough life experience or whatever. And little do you know, they know you might have gone through like a lot of traumatic shit in your life, you know, that they just don't know about. And you know, sometimes it's not so much about how long you've been here, it's like what experiences have you gone through in life. Okay, so look, a lot of these people, some people, they're open to it, they want to learn from you, but there's going to be people that don't. They're lost. They're lost for sure. The world, yeah, because you have had a lot of experiences. The world is someone who, they've been around the block. Okay, I ain't calling you a hoe, I ain't saying that. Like, But y'all know, look, Danny love the hoes over here. We don't do that. But yeah, some of y'all been around the block, okay? You've had plenty of life experiences, and some of y'all might be very young. Someone watching this could be 21 years old, and nobody would even know half of the shit you done been through. Okay, there's something too about like that. I knew I was picking up on that. People are watching you. So like I said, you might have a platform, even if you're just on social media, just kind of posting more personally. You don't have a brand or a business per se, but there's still like a lot of people that are watching you. There is a sense of achievement, accomplishment that's going to be on the way to you, if not already, with this World card. Okay, so that's why I was saying go ahead, celebrate your achievements in advance, because they're definitely coming in. Some of you could be traveling internationally. That could be something bringing you a lot of joy here. 8 of Swords. Okay, so I like this in reference to traveling, because this is traveling, you know, in a more metaphorical sense, outside of some sort of limiting beliefs about life, about oneself. You know, this is clarifying the change card too. And the 8 of Swords is kind of the opposite of change. It's someone who's been stuck. Okay, stuck in limiting mindsets, beliefs, ideologies when we're talking about the swords here. Okay, so there's something about the mindsets needing to expand, needing to grow. You know, also the 8 of Swords is about someone who feels powerless, helpless, defeated. And as I was saying, you ain't no hoe. Like, you know, you've been through some shit in life. You've been around the block. You know, you've maybe had to develop like a thick skin as well, is something that I'm picking up on. Okay, so you already know what's up. This could be people too, the 8 of Swords. You know, can sometimes be people that I'm getting that remind you of your former self. Maybe at one point you were like a negative Nancy, okay? Maybe you were someone that was kind of operating in a lot of, you know, heavier, low vibe energy or whatever, okay? You know, maybe you wasn't feeling good about life, about yourself, whatever the case. But you freed yourself from that. And this 8 of Swords could be someone around you in your environment that needs to free themselves too. But the only way I feel like they're really going to do it if they're open to acknowledging like why you're in their life and what you're meant to teach them. Okay, there could be a person or people around you that are coming into the awareness of what you are to them, what you were meant to spark within them, motivate within them, inspire within them, heal within them, trigger within them. Okay, I feel like someone's having, or it could be multiple people having a better understanding of like, once again, who the fuck you is. You are a spiritual warrior, okay? Like, you have not let life defeat you, even though it's tried to. I get this seed, mustard, the mustard seed. Yes, I get that some of you, man, your faith is so strong, and you believe like in that, like, you know, just even if I just need the faith of a mustard seed, just a little bit of something, like I know, you know, what that can grow into. So some of you, like, you're deeply connected to source, to God, whatever you want to call it. Okay, you're tapped the fuck in. And that's why, once again, you're always emanating so much light. Some of you, you're tapped in. Yeah, like, God fucking damn it, there's so many messages coming through. Excuse me, it's a little overwhelming. Some of you are tapped into the Ascended Masters. You work with like different Ascended Masters. Some of you are tapped in, like, I guess, would the Orisha be considered an Ascended Master? I know Ascended Masters are kind of more of a Western type of concept, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't want to ascribe the two or conflate the two there. But yeah, I get that for some of you, you might work with like different deities, spirits. It might not just be one that you're working with, and that too might be why you're shining so goddamn bright, because you got like a lot of like spiritual energy kind of emanating from within you. I'm getting Sekhmet for somebody. Shit, that's way too many. I don't want all these. Yeah, I'm gonna put those back. Fuck. Okay, they said don't. They said don't. So, Sekhmet came through. Is it Hathor, I believe? Okay, let's see. Alright, let's get these cards. They said take them all. I was going to put them back in the deck. I was being lazy, but I'm not going to be lazy. Okay, so we have this Four of Cups here. Alright, so this is you unexpectedly, yeah, like you don't see something coming here. I get that there's like a big blessing that is on its way to you, High Priestess. Okay, I do feel like the people that I'm reading for, I mean, so far in both of the readings, very like spiritually advanced. All right, you might be a spiritual leader, mentor, you know, godmother, godfather, you know, whatever. But there is more that's coming your way. Maybe even when it comes to like your spiritual gifts, they could be strengthening here a bit more. All right. I'm drawn to the evil eye here, so there could be a need for protection as well. Yeah, going back to the Four of Cups, as I was saying earlier, you guys are going to be very popular. The person with the world, like I said, they're the life of the party. They're the center of the universe, kind of. All right, so you're going to get offers. Hey, I want to be your friend, or I want to, you know, date you. I want to partner with you in business. You have to be very discerning. Everybody's not worth your partnership. There is going to be a really solid offer, though, that actually comes in for you. I heard dripping in gold. Okay, that could be the justice you're receiving here. Okay, all this gold here. So yeah, like, oh, love, karma. I'm still getting used to this deck, so there's a lot of these cards that I'm just seeing for the first time, and they're really pretty. But yeah, like some of you gonna be dripping in gold. I don't know what that means, because even over here with the High Priestess, she got like all these gems in her headdress, so there could be something very regal, royal. There's a crown here, so you are regal. You're royal. You know, some of you might be like spiritual royalty, or maybe in real life. Okay, I don't know. Shit, you a princess or something? What you like? Somebody, okay? But the universe is coming through to balance things out for you in your favor here as well. It's basically like that good energy you've been putting out is about to be returned to you. I heard multiplied. Yeah, the Queen of Swords here. For some of you, the person, you could be a Queen of Swords, okay, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but this person that I get that might not want to learn for you for whatever reason. They might be in this Eight of Swords space that you've come out of yourself. So, you know, this could be someone that, for whatever reason, I will say the Queen of Swords sometimes can be a bit of a know-it-all, okay? So this might be someone that also has to learn a lot of lessons the hard way, because, you know, they don't think they can really learn from other people. Now, yeah, I was saying a message like that earlier. I was picking up on someone that just wanted people that think like them around them. They would rather have an echo chamber than people that have like different experiences and perspectives and whatnot. So this could definitely be, look, I don't know if you've had a weird situation going on with this person. If that has been the case, like any drama, there could be some karma, you know, that they're coming into, and maybe that karma, and I don't believe in, you know, people just out here getting punished just for living life, learning, and sometimes making foolish mistakes in the process. But I think this person could be kind of learning a hard lesson here. Like, damn, like maybe I should have, you know, listened to, you know, card number 2, Group number 2 here, like maybe I should have listened to their advice or learned from their mistakes or whatever. Because they might have been a little too prideful, Six of Wands, thinking like, man, you can't tell me shit. Okay, so I'm like, hey, but one thing that I can say about you, card number 2, your life, it speaks for itself. Your success speaks for itself. Okay, with the Six of Wands, this is someone who is very successful, victorious. They have overcome, okay, some shit. They've overcome that Five of Wands. They've been out to battle. Like I said, for some of you, you've been around the motherfucking block. And I don't know, it could be this Queen of Swords that might not really know like everything you've gone through. And you don't have to tell people your whole fucking life story for them to validate like your wisdom, your experiences. So I think for some of you, you know, that might be just kind of the path you're walking here. This transit is like, hey, you know, I'm just going to lead by example. I'm not going to spend as much time coaching people, mentoring people, advising people. Yeah, I heard even unsolicited advice. And I don't think that people that give unsolicited advice are doing so in a mean way or anything like that. You know, they just tend to be maybe a little more solution oriented, right? But I see that you are not going to be solving other people's problems for them. Like, you know, unless they just come for you directly asking for that guidance. But I don't see you giving it to people, you know, unsolicited. There does seem to be like a big focus on you, the seeds you're planting for your success, okay? Which you're definitely going to be walking into here. Speaking of walking into, we also have this energy of the devil, okay? So this is Capricorn as well as the World, okay, which is a Capricorn card too. Now, some of you are going to be walking into a lot of like material abundance, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, you're also growing in popularity. I don't know. Everybody knows who the fuck you are with Jupiter and Gemini. Okay. Some of you could be influencers, whatever. Okay. But you're going to be walking into a lot of abundance, a lot of access, okay, to things that you have not previously had access to. It's going to be some folks around you, as I was saying. Okay, in this energy, this is greedy, manipulative, coercive, you know, power hungry, right? These might be people that are hungry for the power that you have within you. Your power is different from whatever is rooted in the devil, okay? Where these people, they have to exploit and manipulate and control and puppeteer and do all that shit. You don't have to do any of that. Like, your power comes from just being yourself, being in your authentic truth, you know, which is a culmination of your lived experiences and, you know, also just your soul, just who you are, right? But also your connection to the divine, your identity, like in the divine. You know, like, yeah, I know I'm a child of God or child of the universe or whatever, you know. And that is where your confidence comes from. Whereas, look, you are going to be venturing into environments, I'm seeing, with this devil energy. Once again, you're going to start having access to spaces, people that you haven't had access to before. All of that shit's not good, okay? I'm gonna just keep it a buck, right? A lot of this shit is on some illusionary, like, it's just some bullshit painted in gold, essentially, okay? You know, that cheap ass jewelry that turn your neck green and shit. That's what a lot of this shit is that you're going to be seeing. You're going to see it, like, it's going to be revealed to you through this Jupiter and Gemini transit. I think, like, just how superficial a lot of people are. Yeah, you're going to see it. You're going to have some experiences with it. I don't see anything like taking you out, though. No tower moments where shit's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, no, not with your, like I said, your spiritual power and your wisdom. You see shit coming from 10 miles away, 100 miles away. You already know what's up. So you gonna go into these environments once again equipped, not only with your light, but with the shield of, what is it in the Bible? I don't know. The shield of truth. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't remember. The armor of God. But you finna go up in that bitch with the armor of God, okay? And shining your light into these places. There are going to be people that you positively influence and you help them along their journey. There are going to be people that are repelled by you. They are not going to fuck with you. That's just how it is, okay? When you are of the light. It's very polarizing, I get. Like, maybe you are very polarizing. Like, people either love you to death, to pieces, like obsessed with you, or to the point where they fucking hate you, they envy you, they just like, I'm preying on their downfall. Like, I don't feel like it's ever really an in-between. I don't think a lot of people have like a very objective view of who you really are. I just saw 4444 on the screen. So that could be an angel number for you. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, what other people, how they perceive you, how they view you, doesn't matter. You need to know yourself. And you do. You know who yourself. Like, you know who you are. You know yourself. You know, I heard whose you are as well. And once again, you're a child of God, of the universe, of the creator, whatever it is you connect with. And baby, that anointing, that birthright, that legacy, like what comes with it, I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed in so many ways. So many ways. Like, and you need to keep a level head, right? When you start accessing these things, some of you, I feel like, are coming into like a lot of money. And you want to keep it a level headed. All right. And remember, everybody ain't your motherfucking friend coming around now that you bossing up and shit. Some people, they going to be genuine. Some people, they not. Okay. So make sure that discernment is on 10. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this reading here for those of you that chose card number 2, our clear crystal quartz. If this resonated at all, please leave me a comment below what stood out to you the most here in this reading. But until next time, I'm sending y'all so much love. Take care. Bye. Hello, for those of you that chose card number 3, the citrine crystal here. We're going to go ahead and get into your Jupiter and Gemini reading, starting off with your animal spirit, which is the horse. That is so beautiful. I love this card. So the horse is all about power, stamina. They have this majestic quality about them. So there's something kind of mysterious, maybe a little wild here that you're tapping into for those of you that chose card number 3 here. Even drawn to the crescent moon, almost placed on like the third eye of the horse, can suggest that this is a time where your intuitive abilities are strengthening here as well. Okay. As mentioned, there's an element of, having more of a free spirit, expanding, kind of being able to travel far distances. And when we're talking about Jupiter, we're talking about expansion, right? And when we're talking about Gemini, we're also talking about travel. When we are thinking about the astrological wheel there, the 3rd house, which is ruled by Gemini, is associated with short distance travel. All right. And the opposite sign of Gemini, which is Sagittarius, and Jupiter happens to be Sagittarius's planetary ruler. Excuse me. I just lost my train of thought there. So yeah, whatever. Moving on. So yes, this is an energy of expansion, of growth, maybe even really rapid change that's taking place for some of you as well. This is an invitation to really push through, okay? When it comes to any challenges or difficulties that you've been facing, once there's this element of, you having to build up stamina. So there are going to be situations that do arise during this transit that can be a bit more challenging. I think I briefly talked about it in all of the cards so far, but Jupiter in Gemini, the first month here, really like June, is going to be kind of the easiest time frame, the best time to really work with its energy. But Jupiter is going to be making some squares to Saturn throughout the summer, maybe into the fall. So that is something that we'll be dealing with as well, which can create a little bit of opposition, a little struggle, right? But I heard built to last. Also, I heard Ford tough. Is that a thing? I don't know. Somebody could drive like a Ford truck or something like that, or just like your, like, I don't know, if someone ever asked you the question like, what kind of car are you or whatever, you would be like a Ford, like, I don't know, F-150 or some shit. So yeah, I'm getting like some of your built. I heard stack too. That's hilarious. So it's giving stallion. Okay, Meg the Stallion type of vibe. Some of you might be in the gym, doing what you need to do to get your gains, build up your strength. Building your physique could be something that you're getting into here, while Jupiter is Gemini as well. Now, not only is the horse associated with physical stamina, but it is also associated with mental focus, okay? And when we are talking about Gemini, the planet the zodiac sign that is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is all about, our mind, what's going on in our head, okay? So this is a really good time because of the placement here of Gemini and it expanding that Gemini mercurial energy. Jupiter it will have a tendency to kind of increase like any overthinking, for those of you that might already be a little more on the anxious side. This can be a transit that might trigger that a little bit more. So you do want to be mindful of whatever practices that you use to manage, anxiety, overthinking. I'm getting analysis paralysis here as well. These may all be things that you're kind of working through. Meditation could be a good way for you to kind of work with that, okay? Let's see here. When the horse is in balance, it can achieve anything and it never gives up, all right? It is that unstoppable force. When it is out of balance, it runs away and feels weak, all right? So those are things to keep in mind for those of you that chose card number 3 as you navigate this Jupiter in Gemini transit. Remember, it's something about you being like built for tough. I don't look. That's really funny. So you're built for this, whatever it is that you might be dealing with. Oh, look at that. I didn't even recognize this when I pulled the book out earlier. So to bring horse energy into balance, especially when it's out of balance, as mentioned, when you kind of veer into that avoidance, scary, disempowered type of space, to bring yourself into balance, you need to do some strength training, okay? So I did just mention somebody's like getting stacked here, gonna be looking like Meg the Stallion out here, okay? Even the men out there, okay? They finna have their hoochie daddy shorts on, tree trunks out, okay? Like, get into it. So yeah, some of y'all need to go on ahead, go get you a gym membership. If you are not familiar with, like, I don't know how to, work with these different, machines and whoop-de-woo. You know, get on YouTube, uh, get with a personal trainer or something like that. But yes, you know, your fitness seems to be really important for you. The more that you build up your physical strength, you are simultaneously going to be building up like your mental capacity as well, just to be able to handle things that might throw you off. I think that's the beauty here of Jupiter and Gemini. Gemini is a mutable sign, so you know, this can be a lesson that we're learning throughout this transit, of how to be more flexible, how to be more adaptable. Okay, so you know, this can, even working with, in addition to strength training, some of you might be working with your flexibility in some way. Yoga, stretching, you know, doing something like that could also be beneficial for you. So all right, you coming through in this horse energy, beautiful, powerful, majestic, right? We love to see it. As I mentioned, some of you are very intuitive here too with the crescent moon. Most of these cards are like usually really colorful. So it's always interesting seeing like more of the just black and white. So I get that there's something about the nighttime that could be significant for you as well. Maybe your mind will be a little more active during the nighttime. Okay, so active potentially with regrets. Okay, I know that I cannot change the past. So some of you could be having those moments where you're thinking back and you're kind of cringing on certain things. Who got this? This came up in a recent reading. I think it was a full moon. Yeah, the full moon in Sagittarius reading. It might have been pile number 4 that had got this card. So you guys might want to check that out too. If I remember, I'll link it in the description so you can just click over there. But yes, like I get also with this, like, no regrets. You don't want to live your life and look back one day having a lot of regrets, which is where that horse energy comes in and empowers you to take charge, take control of your life, of your destiny. I just heard bucket list. Okay, so some of you might not have even written out a bucket list, so it's a good time for you to get into that. Put one in your notes app on your phone or whatever. But this is I'm getting like, what is it, carpe diem type of seize the moment. Is that what it means? Seize the moment, seize the day. I can't remember what exactly it translates into. But there is an element of taking more risks, because I get some of you, look, you don't want to look back, especially like maybe this time next year, at certain opportunities that may be coming up for you. Yeah, that's so interesting. What an interesting message here. Now, as I mentioned, for some of you, this could be regrets that you do have about your past. You know, things you wish you would have done a little differently. Different decisions you wish you could have made. Yeah, maybe when you were more in that shadowy element of the horse, running away, feeling weak, feeling disempowered. So yeah, I'm getting for some of you, you know, especially if this is about relationships, you might be feeling a lot of regret about like, damn, why did I allow myself to stay in that situation for so long? Or why did I allow that person to do that to me? And the self-accountability, sure, that's really important, but I would just be mindful. The accountability can easily veer into the territory of you just being like almost self-deprecating and just beating yourself up. And it's just like, it is what it is at this point. I just saw 1122 on the timer there, so that could be an angel number for you. It is what it is at this point. You know, you cannot change the past. You know, it's like, if you knew what you knew now, like, you wouldn't have ever just been in that situation at all. I'm getting some of you are needing to recognize that, you know, some of the relationships, the jobs that you've had, situations you've been involved with, they were put into your life, you know, as lessons, as opportunities for you to grow, to evolve. So, you know, don't regret any of your experiences. Don't regret your past. You know, some of you might feel ashamed about your past, and You know, it's just like, no, you don't have to feel that way at all. For some of you, this might be the past is kind of following you around. You know, maybe with a horse here, you're trying to move forward, but you feel like, you know, maybe people are trying to like hold you back or whatever. They don't want to see you move forward. You know, there could be people around you that are reminding you constantly, oh, well, you used to, and you used to be like this, and then you done changed, you done switched up. You know, that kind of energy coming through here too, because some of you, like I said, you're going to be experiencing a lot of rapid growth here with Jupiter and Gemini. Not that it's going to, you know, at certain times come without delays or stalls or challenges, but in the whole grand scheme of things, when you think about a Jupiter transit, it's only for a year. So, you know, a year goes by pretty fast too. So you think like, damn, this time next year, I could be in a completely different space in my life. You know, sometimes it's just like one opportunity or, you know, one relationship or one idea that you have that completely changes your life. One action or, you know, decision that you make that can easily change your life. This is what I'm picking up on here once again with the no regrets. I just saw like no regrets as a tattoo. I don't know if somebody has that. Somebody could like want to buy horses, want to have land, you know, those of you that chose card number 3, you do have a desire for more freedom in your life. So that might kind of come about in a very physical, material way where I get that some of you, okay, this is interesting. Some of you kind of like live a city lifestyle, maybe even like suburban or something. Like it's very modern, you know. But some of you are going to be transitioning into lifestyles that are more simple. You might be like buying a farm, homesteading, like stuff like that is what I'm picking up on. And someone out there, you could be like buying a horse or you want to have horses. This could be on your bucket list. Maybe, yeah, for those of you that have been wanting to go horseback riding or something, you've never done it, you should, you know, make that a thing here sometime within the next year. Okay, for your archetype oracle, we have the stone. All right, I heard no stone left unturned. Okay, so, yeah. So this even goes back to what I was saying earlier about you having regrets about past situations. Those are all stones that you had to like turn over, you know, to gain the insight, the wisdom, the experience that you needed from them. So that is something coming through here with this message. Some of you might be working with like gemstones, crystals, you know, things of that nature. They could be really supportive when it comes to your personal healing or whatnot. Okay, some of you could even be picking up on like jewelry making too with the gemstones. So the stone is the eternal, the anchor, the rock. As an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of permanence, concreteness, and reliability. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us, as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. A single stone may see thousands of generations come and go. Therefore, it contains an ancient and eternal presence. The stone is best used to anchor our wild side, so no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. The stone tethers us to earth, helping to ground and connect us to stillness, quiet, and peace. This card appears, when this card appears, it is likely the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of our world. Yes, that's that anchor. Okay, wow. I'm getting so many messages rushing through. So, as I was saying with this horse energy, you're expanding quickly, rapidly. Um, I'm getting a couple of messages. There are going to be people that have been riding with you for a while, that are going to hold you down. They're going to be with you through this level up. But then there are some people that I'm getting like, they are holding you down in a different way to where it's like they don't want you to grow like beyond them. It's like you might trigger, yes, okay, so there's two different groups of people I'm seeing. Your success, your expansion is going to trigger abandonment in some people, okay, and them feeling like, oh my gosh, you're leaving me behind, what are you doing? Abandonment is going to trigger like jealousy, envy, you know, things of that nature. But then for another group of people, it's going to trigger or kind of be a catalyst for their growth. You know, these are people that are going to be inspired by what you're doing. These may be people that you end up working with, collaborating with, putting on in some capacity. Yes, okay. I'm getting a strong message when it comes to putting on, you know, to really, I'm hearing do your due diligence, you know, and knowing who you're fucking with, okay? Knowing who you can put on. I'm getting like you can't put on like, and this doesn't mean that you got to abandon your family, but I'm getting a message, a strong message. You can't put on everybody, like especially everybody in your damn family. You know, you don't got to give everybody in your business, you know, every family member in your business a job or something like that. It's really important for you to, you know, make wise decisions. Don't just be out here making decisions just because, like, oh, that's my family, so I gotta put them on or whatever. Like, of course, you know, don't ever just get in the way of anyone's blessings. But I don't really think that's the case here. That's not what's being communicated at all. So it's just really important that you be discerning about these different stones in your life, okay? Some of these people, they're going to be an anchor that does help kind of keep you grounded, keep you level-headed as you continue to elevate, right? You know, and don't take these people as, oh, they jealous or they hating. No, these people are like, they really know you too. So if they got something to say, it's for usually for a really good reason, okay? But I get that you're going to be able to tell the difference between, you know, those that are just kind of like, you know, I don't like using the word checking people per se, but, you know, those that are like holding you accountable, right? Because they know you, they know your character, versus those that are, trying to hold you hostage, okay? So there's a difference between those that are trying to hold you accountable and those that are trying to hold you hostage to the person that you have always been for them, okay? Whatever it is, the role that you play in your life, in their life, it's like they want to hold you hostage to that. That's interesting. All right. So I love this too because it mentioned the stone is best used to anchor our wild side. So no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. And like, you're getting wild here. This is going to be a wild and free time for you. So that too could be, you know, why you're going to have these anchors, the stones in your life. Like, yo, hey, just reel it on in just a little bit. You know, I ain't trying to rain on your parade or nothing, but you know, just a little bit. Okay. So it could be that type of situation. I do feel like where you're going to have some solid people around you. I'm getting like earthy type of Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, okay, that you could be connecting with here. So as I was shuffling the affirmation cards, we had two flip over. The first one, I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. Ashe. Yes, I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. For some of you, what's coming to you is fertility. Maybe you have some regrets about, okay, that's an interesting message. Trigger warning. Just kind of want to give somebody a heads up there. Some of you could have some regrets about terminating like a previous pregnancy or whatnot. and now maybe feeling like, damn, like maybe I should have had that baby because now I haven't really had the opportunity to do that or fulfill that desire in my life. But I'm getting for some of you that is definitely going to be happening for you still. Be patient, okay? I let an inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. I love that quiet time, which was emphasized, as I said, with that horse energy and kind of getting into that meditative space where you're quieting the mind, you're slowing down your thoughts here, even with the stone. That is an energy that kind of slows things down. So I really like the juxtaposition that you have, you know, between these different symbols or archetypes here, because you do have, yes, this very wild, expansive, and free energy, but you also have this really grounded, down to earth, supportive energy that is here too. So this is really beautiful. I'm sure it's going to benefit you in this upcoming year and just kind of remaining balanced and level-headed, as I was saying, especially because, you know, there are going to be some major, okay, major like win or something in your life, and he's gonna have to like look, don't be out here flexing too hard on us, okay? You might have a friend like, hey, look, now I remember when your ass was broke down and dusty and sleeping on my couch. Look, but if they a friend, they wouldn't do that. But still, you know, in so many words, they might kind of humbly, lovingly remind you of yourself, okay? But like I said, there's a difference. There's a difference between people that are trying to hold you accountable and those that are trying to hold you hostage. So you will have the discernment to determine, distinguish the two. Okay, so let's get some tarot cards here. Let's see what else we got going on. For those of you that chose card number 3, the crystal here was the citrine. All right, one of my faves. All right, let's see what additional messages we have. Ooh, even here, I just recognize they use the word strengthen, and remember, strength training is a way for you to keep that horse spirit in balance. Let's see, give us some additional messages for card number 3, Spirit. Card number 3. Okay. See here, 7 of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, so this is about being patient, taking your time. That was one of the affirmations. I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. Okay, as I mentioned with Jupiter and Gemini, this transit is there's going to be some challenging, you know, times that we have, okay, throughout this transit. Not to say we won't have any good ones either. But the challenging ones are the ones that are going to build you. They're going to grow you. They're the ones that are strengthening you. Not even just physically, but, you know, strengthening your spirit, right? You know, developing patience. If you are or have ever been an impatient person, you know the strength it takes to develop this particular quality, okay? So yes, you know, you guys are in that space where you're doing just that. Interesting, I just noticed, so we're using this animal spirit deck, but in this tarot deck, there is a deer. What is that? I think that's a deer, right? Look. So that too might have some additional insight if you want to like look up the spirit animal, the messages behind the deer, that can provide you with some more clarity here for your message. Okay, so we do have this Tower card. Yes, I love how it's on top of the regrets, okay? Because this is like, all right, it's time to burn it all down, okay? The regret included, because for some of you, there are things that have already ended, and that's why you have this regret, because you're just like, oh no, like, why did that have to end that way? And oh man, I wish I would have did this different, or maybe maybe I wouldn't have ended that relationship, or like it could be so many things here, right? You guys, if anything, you're needing to burn away your regrets. You're needing to get into a space of acceptance, of being present here in the moment, the here, the now. I think that's why you guys are being advised to get into meditation more, because you're spending too much time living in the past, okay? And look, the tower can sometimes come through when we're unwilling to let go of the past, relinquish that. The tower will come through and it'll snatch it from us, okay? So this is something to be mindful of as well, right? In ways that we cling on to what's familiar and, you know, what's comfortable. And there could be an opportunity here, and I feel like there is always an opportunity for us to move beyond our comfort zone. You know, that's where the growth happens, right? So look, y'all. Look, y'all lean into this tower. Okay, we have this Two of Swords here. So once again, there is something that you've been kind of blocking, stuck. Okay, that would make sense. So the shadow side of the stone is feeling weighted down, holding back, and cold, okay? Which very much is the vibe of the Two of Swords, okay? So as I've been mentioning, if you've been feeling weighted down by the regrets, by the coulda, woulda, shouldas, as I like to call them, you know, it's time to let this go. It's time to lighten up. It's time to move the energy. The Two of Swords is a stalemate, okay? There's nothing happening here. I don't know if this is about a relationship for some of you. It could be, all right, where it's like neither of you are really saying anything, really doing anything, really moving this connection forward. You know, it's just like I'm getting like radio silence. What's that term called? Stonewalling or gray rock? Yeah, I don't know what the shit. I think it's maybe one of them, both of them. But that's coming through here as well. So that might be a tactic. And I'm using the word tactic loosely because, you know, that suggests that someone's being conscious and intentional and even malicious in the way that they're going about that. But some people, they're not aware, okay, that they are avoidant or afraid of conflict, or, you know, whatever the case may be, afraid of intimacy. It could be so many things, right? Because I do get the element of the Two of Swords here. This is someone who doesn't want to deal with stuff like that. So they go into that gray rock or stonewalling. Like I said, I don't know what it's called. They go into that space because they don't really know how to deal. They don't know how to communicate. Maybe their feelings are kind of overwhelming. Maybe they just kind of, you know, when their feelings get overwhelming, they shut down. Okay, this could be you. Card number 3. More than likely, right? Maybe even someone that you've dealt with has had some similar tendencies. You know, we kind of do that in our relationships. We can mirror, you know, some of our own blind spots to each other. That's sometimes what a relationship is for. It's for us to kind of put up a mirror to areas of ourselves that we just haven't quite seen. So for some of you, yeah, I mean, hey, the horse did say in the shadowy side of that, it runs away and feels weak. So I do get whoever I'm speaking to in card number 3, that might be where some of your regret comes from, is like maybe ghosting, or like I said, stonewalling, gray rocks, silent treatment. You know, for those of you that are even aware, you know, that you do this. And I'm not villainizing or demonizing anyone that is ever fucking use the silent treatment, okay? Because sometimes these are things that we've learned as well from our environment, from our parents, okay? But yeah, I'm definitely getting that this is something you are transforming and healing within yourself. Healing, yes. the Temperance card, okay? So this is about healing, transformation, transmuting like the dark into the light. Can also be a card of reconciliation. You know, if this is about a relationship and you do have regrets, maybe you did ghost somebody or go quiet on them or whatever the case may be, it's never too late to reach out. If that person is still alive, you can reach out, okay? You have to manage your expectations about how that person receives you. And hey, like, that's just something you have to manage. It's like, would you rather deal with the discomfort of someone, I don't know, maybe being a little irked, a little annoyed, a little pissy with you, versus like never talking to them ever again, okay? So that might be something that you guys want to think about. It could be a good idea to pray about this. Pray about it to your ancestors. Get them involved. Like, yo, help me out here. I'm having a hard time, you know, making the necessary steps that I need to take here to mend. For some of you, I do feel like this could be mending a connection here. There's that Sagittarius energy I was talking about too in the full moon reading that I did. So I'll try to remember to link that reading in the description. But if not, just go check out the channel. It's on there. But yes, like this is a time where you're coming into more balance, more harmony, maybe after going through a bit of destruction here with this Tower card. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. Overall energy, you know, for your Jupiter and Gemini transit, card number 3 is the Emperor. So this is about you coming into your power, into a greater sense of authority, autonomy. Yes, I love this. This is very horse, like taking charge, being strong, you know, taking action. The Emperor, he don't run away from shit, okay? He is not scared of nothing, nobody. And as powerful as a horse is, if you know about horses, you also know they can be very skittish. So like I said, there's this light and shadow side. So some of you are coming into the light. You're coming out of the shadow, coming out of being skittish and avoidant and maybe dismissive. You know, some of you doing a silent treatment and, you know, I'm not going to talk to them. They're going to have to talk to me. Look, we're getting out of that space, okay? And it looks like we're getting into more of a healthy masculine energy, which is, you know, very much about addressing shit, just handling it head on, directly, but in a grounded way, a respectful way. For some of you, especially those of you that date men or romantically involved with men, this could be someone that you are going to be connecting to here, possibly reconciling with. Now, for others of you, it could potentially be someone new, you know, as you go through this healing, this transformation with the Tower, the destructive habits that you might have. And like I said, for many of you, it's kind of avoidant. You might be, what is it? Avoidant attachment or something like that. So you guys are working on that. And it's going to have you showing up in a healthier way as this divine masculine emperor. You know, this isn't the toxic masculine patriarchal bullshit that most people think is masculinity. Nah, this ain't that. Okay, this the real deal Holyfield. Some of you, you're going to be connecting with it. Some of you, you're about to be reconciling with it. Some of you are reconciling with this within yourself. Okay, and it's good stuff. Jupiter and Gemini. For card number 3, if this resonated at all, I'm going to wrap it up here. Go ahead. Leave me a like, a comment below. Let me know what stood out to you the most. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I am sending you all so much love. Take care. Bye. For those of you that chose card number 4, let's go ahead and tap in. This is the amethyst crystal. So let's see what your Jupiter and Gemini messages are. Starting off with your animal spirit card, we got the shark. Okay, I heard that dun 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 dun. The little shark music from like Jaws or whatever. So look, now you might be the one that's coming through in the position of the shark, that you're ready to, I don't want to say attack, but I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you are in that mode. I'm hearing like beast mode, like you're ready to take over, take charge, do what needs to be done. Some of you might have been, previously in the Jupiter and Taurus transit, maybe feeling a little more unmotivated, maybe a little more passive. Okay, so you could be switching it up here with this transit now, where you're going to be taking more control, asserting yourself a little more as we get into this transit. Now, of course, sharks, they have a bit of a bad rep. There's also a side to them that we do have to be mindful of if this is other people that you're dealing with. Right? Sometimes this can be someone that is, as I say, like a shark, even, what is it, like a lone shark, someone that's kind of predatory, essentially. Okay, so that might be something to be in mind, to keep in mind. Those of you that chose card number 4, okay, wow. Ooh-wee, okay, come on. So, some of y'all are going to be exposing things about people, okay? For some people, these are predators, okay? People that are doing bad things, they're abusing, harming, toxic people. And some of you might have been impacted by these people, specific person, whatever, and you putting that shit on blast is what I'm getting here. Jupiter in Gemini is all about communication and, speaking our truth. And some of you are very much going to be doing that. The qualities associated with the shark are directness, exposure, and revealing true nature and desire. So doubling down on what I just said, this is going to be, I feel like, a year where you'll be sniffing out the sharks too. You'll have the discernment to know, like, that's good over here, not so much over there, okay? I heard blood in the water, okay? So you'll even be able to smell blood in the water. What is this a metaphor for, Spirit? Because I know this isn't meant to be a literal thing, but okay, so I'm hearing like people that, could be potentially out to get you. Is kind of working in an opposite way, because when the shark smells blood in the water, they're going for it, they're going for the attack, right? But it's going to be a little different for you. When you're smelling the blood in the water, you're like, let me get away, so this is definitely something to keep in mind in your dealings with other people. With the shark energy coming up, not everybody is going to, have your best intentions in mind here, okay? There are definitely going to be some people around you kind of lurking, seeing what they can get from you. Yeah, I'm even seeing, how sharks, they kind of, I think that's just something they do. Look, I'm not that into Nat Geo, but they might like circle their prey, kind of swim around the prey for a while before they actually fucking eat them. So that's just like, oh my gosh, that's like sheer torture. So I'm getting a message here to be mindful of the people that might be circling around you as well. Whether it's online, I know monitoring spirits, quote unquote, that's a whole thing now. But whatever it is, this could be people in the workplace. This could be, I just heard gossip. Wow, it's interesting to deliver a message like this. Okay, so I hope some of this has already played out for you guys, but I've got to keep it a buck, okay? I don't sugarcoat my readings. Some of you might deal with, during this Jupiter and Gemini transit, some sort of slander, gossip, defamation of character. Look, I don't know if it's going to get that far to where you got to sue somebody, but it could, okay? But for some of you, it might just be something as simple as people in the office, they're fucking jealous of you or whatever, and they're all talking shit behind your back, okay? So, whatever it is, though, I will say that it will be revealed at some point during this Jupiter and Gemini transit that, you know, whoever is on this type of sneaky, destructive behavior, they're going to be outed. All right. Now, some of the positive things about the shark, they're intriguing, captivating, and mysterious. I said this about card number 3. Trying to think of the other animals that we got. Yeah, the first 2 cards had a lot of color, and then the last 2 cards were black and white. And in this specific deck, most of the cards actually have more color than anything. So I find it interesting. Cards 3 and 4 had like more of the black and white cards. So this can suggest for you, card number 4, that there's a need for you to lean into the darkness in a way. And I'm not saying like the dark side and no, just become a villain or anything like that. But, you know, maybe leaning into the dark side as far as being aware of how people really are, right? It's kind of like making chess moves, all right? This sounds really strategic and a little, it's a little sticky territory for me, to be honest, because I'm like, whoa, this sounds very kind of yuck. And this could be the people, you know, unfortunately, when you're kind of attached to certain people or situations, it's kind of like you got to beat them at their own game type of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of getting that coming through here for you guys. This could even be like a toxic, I'm getting like in-laws or some shit. Some of you could have like, yeah, I don't know, like, toxic in-laws, but also your spouse could be kind of toxic too. They might be a part of like the circle of sharks that are around you. So look, y'all need to stay woke, okay? Now, when in balance, as mentioned, the shark is intriguing, captivating, and mysterious. When it's out of balance, it's sneaky and destructive. To bring into balance, the shark needs honesty, okay? So that might be the big focus here. In addition to courage. I mean, excuse me. You need courage to be honest sometimes, you know, especially about more painful or difficult things that you have to express. Okay. I'm hearing for some of you, it's the painful truth that you don't like somebody. That you're not too fond of them. So be mindful of how that shark energy shows up in a shadowy way when you're trying to play nice with somebody that you don't really like, okay? It doesn't mean you have to get in their face and I don't fucking like you and then give them a list of 50 things that you don't like about them. But, you know, you also shouldn't be pretending to be nice to them and shit when you know you don't like their ass and you be talking about them. So, that's something to keep in mind, okay? Now, look, this could be somebody with you. That same situation, somebody smiling in your motherfucking face. And, oh, girl, you know, I love you. And, you know, you so cool. I just, da-da-da. Whole time, they talking mad shit behind your back. All right, so that too will be revealed at some point. Okay, now, like I said, for some of you, this is the courage that you're needing to speak your truth. I heard, what is it that you want? Because that's one thing about the shark and its predatory nature. Sometimes it just won't be upfront about what it wants. It feels like it's got to go about it in a really like roundabout kind of way, an exploitative way, a sleazy kind of way, okay? And you don't want to go about shit like that. So it's important that during Jupiter and Gemini, you get that throat chakra activated because, look, it's going to activate you, right? And you're going to have the courage to speak up, to speak your truth, to say what you need, what you want, you know, without any, I heard, false pretenses. These could be people and how they interacting with you too. We have pride that also flipped over for you with your soul's journey lesson here. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. That's what I was saying with that kind of beating them at their own game or playing their own game. You see yourself in maybe some of these people, okay? And I'm not saying you got to be like big level predatory, just terrible person out here, okay? I think we've all been guilty of a little gossip, right? And we all know it's wrong. It's not right. It's not right to be talking about people. Okay. So it could be something like that. Maybe you're recognizing it like in your environment. You're seeing how people are gossiping about one of your coworkers or how they gossiping about you. And now you're like, oh shit, now that makes me think of that time I was gossiping about such and such. And, I could have only imagined how they would feel if they found out about, some of the same things that I was saying with you. All right. So, yeah, like there's a mirror that's being held up here for you all that chose card number 4 during this Jupiter and Gemini transit. It's going to be important that you're not so prideful to the point where you're like, no, I'm not like them and da-da-da. Like, it's like, nah, you might want to check yourself because there could be a tendency here to be a bit self-righteous or like very judgmental about a situation, especially if it's like directly involving you and you're the one that's being circled around by the sharks. Okay. This could be an opportunity for you to self-reflect. Okay. Self-reflect, to grow, to evolve. And you might even have to think back like, okay, well, when I was in this energy, what was I really feeling? And more than likely, when someone's kind of acting out, trying to exert their power, their dominance, they feel really insecure deep down. So that might be something you have to kind of like talk yourself through. If you are dealing with any of the situations I mentioned during this transit, gossip, slander, defamation, you might have to really talk to yourself like, okay, well, what could this person possibly be going through that would make them want to, talk about me like this, whatever, okay? And many of you'll be able to relate. Like, oh, yeah, I remember that one time, I was just kind of in some mean girl energy or, I was just being a fucking dick or whatever and talking about this person. And I knew like I wasn't at my best at that time. I wasn't feeling good about myself. Maybe I was a little intimidated by that person, whatever the case may be. Okay, so this is going to be a bit, I actually don't like the word humble, but I feel the need to use it here. This is going to be a bit of a humbling year, but I feel like it's going to be in the best way, okay? Where you are, you're just able to connect with people from a more expanded consciousness, which, that's always a good thing, right? When we expand our consciousness, we tend to be less judgmental about others. We tend to be like less polarizing, less dogmatic, less black and white. We're able to see like more of the gray area. I see all the gray here on this card, black, whites, I'm getting that's what's coming. The wisdom that you're going to be gaining here during this Jupiter and Gemini is, seeing that gray area, recognizing that, embracing that as a lifestyle. And Gemini, if they're the twins, right? So it's about these opposites, these polarities, but anytime we introduce the idea of polarities, there's also always like the third element there that is involved too, which is like the meeting of the middle. So there's a need, as mentioned, in this upcoming year to find that middle ground, where you're not being judgmental and self-righteous, but also where you're not being like, avoidant, head up in the clouds, thinking that everybody you know, just has your best intentions in mind. It's like being right in the middle. Okay. So that seems to be the space you're finding yourself in, because yeah, some of you may be even recognizing about yourself, like, you know, yeah, I've operated on both sides of the spectrum here. But you know, I also know that I'm neither good nor bad. This is the concept I'm picking up on. Some of you may be dissolving once again these polar ideas or whatnot, good and bad, right and wrong. There's just like something about you just being in the middle here, being neutral, less judgmental, more observational. Now, when it comes down to it with this shark, though, and this pride and courage, when you need to stand up for yourself, you'll be able to. You know, the shark, as mentioned, is direct. So if there's a situation that comes up that needs addressing, you won't have a problem doing that. Remember, to bring the shark energies into balance, it needs honesty. So there could be some things that you are going to be addressing more directly here with Jupiter and Gemini, with this courage that you have, with this sense of pride that you have in yourself. Let's see what the archetype oracle is here. I just saw someone like a shark tooth like necklace. I don't know if someone has one on. You might be buying one. Ooh, look at that. Wasn't I just talking about all that black and white, and you got the shadow that flipped over here. So this is going to be, and look at the twins, oh my gosh, and the third there too. I was literally just talking about this concept. Okay, so yes, this is going to be a time for shadow work. For those of you that chose card number 4, the mirror is going to be held up. So I don't want to hear nothing in my comments about, no, Danny, I'm not like this, I don't do that, da, da, da. Yes, you do. You did at some point, at least. So that is what you're being reminded to keep in mind, you know, along your journey. You know, the lessons you've had to learn, the person you have been, you know, the people you've been, you know, in the past, right? Because we're transforming, we're evolving, or at least we hope we are. So yes, you are going to be confronting some of that shadow, which will be manifesting externally in your environment. So you're going to see it, as I mentioned, in other people. You're going to see their shadow, and you're going to want to like, you know, kind of go into that judgment mode. But you're going to have to take a step back and be like, wait, hold up, you know, was there any time in my life where I was kind of operating in the way that they are? Why was I operating that way? How can I extend some understanding, some grace, some compassion here? Now, this doesn't always mean that you got to be close and, you know, like in that close proximity, dealing with someone when they themselves are maybe in a really dark space. But, you know, you could still, from a distance, right? You can love on that person, send them good vibes, you know, without maybe internalizing things and feeling like, oh my gosh, like they're such a terrible person for not being around for me or whatever. And it's just like, they might have their own stuff going on right now. So I would just be a bit mindful of that. Okay. We all kind of go through stuff at times, and everybody deals with that differently. Some people, they want support. They want to let everybody know what's going on, or let their close friends know. Other people, they just want to deal with stuff by themselves. So that too could be something going on here as well. So not like take personally if someone is basically needing space to do their own shadow work. Now, this could even be you that needs to be direct and potentially communicating that to someone. I don't want all of these, you know, letting them know like, hey, I'm kind of working through confronting some things. For some of you, a part of your shadow may be the pride, like in the more negative way, being too prideful, self-righteous. The shadow side of courage is someone who is fearful. They're like a coward, okay? Or even, you know, sneaky. That's usually someone that can't operate in the light or, you know, operate in a direct manner, because they can't be fully upfront and real with themselves about like what they want. Okay, so that's something that you also want to be mindful of as you go through this Gemini or Jupiter and Gemini transit. Let's read some more about the shadow, if I can find it. So yes, shadow work, as I mentioned, integrating like more courage into your life, more directness, assertiveness. You know, for some of you, this is the courage, as I was saying earlier, that you're going to have to stand up for yourself, to call people out for their predatory behavior, right? For their abuse or exploitation, whatever it is they've been doing. All right, so the shadow is the unspeakable, the unwelcome, the denied. Although every card in the archetypes deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole. Rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow, we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it is time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with, no, anything but that, you are touching shadow. Find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. Ashe, ashe, ashe. That's why I was saying, like, you're going to see this playing out in other people. And it's because you're meant to be doing this work in yourself. All right. Some of you have been avoiding the shadow work within yourself. So this might be the time to go ahead, get into some therapy, you know, or some type of support, somatic healing, whatever it is you do. Get into it. It's a time to stop denying, you know, these hidden aspects of yourself, undesirable aspects of yourself, things that you're ashamed of. Yeah, I'm getting shame coming through pretty deeply. That's why I'm getting a message of someone like exposing someone, like trigger warning. Yeah, someone could have been abused. I even get like child abuse, sexual abuse, you know, those are all terrible things to think about, but even worse to experience. But yeah, like you guys watching this reading, those of you that chose card number 4, sorry if I sound a little heavy because this reading is starting to feel that way a bit, but you know, it's time to lighten your load. Maybe you've been feeling a little heavy too. You're very heavy with the weight of the world, the weight of these burdens you've been carrying, the weight of your shame that you've been carrying for someone else's missteps, for their mistakes, for their bad behavior. Why are you ashamed? They should be ashamed. I heard narcissistic fleas too, so it's a concept that I was introduced to maybe a couple of years ago. So I'll do some research about that, but it's kind of the way that, you know, people that deal with narcissistic abuse, some of those behaviors they kind of take on themselves and end up kind of doing similar things that their abuser did to them to other people. So Look into that narcissistic fleas. I'm not a therapist. Definitely go tap in with one. I always encourage people to do that. Especially for those of you that did choose card number 4, because it does seem like you're kind of working through some heavier stuff, okay? And you might need a little extra support, and there is nothing wrong with that. Your affirmation for this Jupiter and Gemini transit is, in stillness, I receive. Okay, I love this. So a lot of the signs have been getting these messages to just be intentional about slowing down, or excuse me, a lot of the cards. These aren't zodiac sign readings. But yes, you know, they've been getting this message, slowing down, especially the thoughts, the mind, because Jupiter is in Gemini. Gemini energy, very quick, okay? Very active mind too. You know, maybe a little overactive, where you're going to be having a harder time going to sleep at night because you're feeling more restless. So it's important to take time every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, just to be still, to just be in quiet time, maybe, you know, in nature or something like that. But get into a daily devotional practice of stillness. That is going to be really important for those of you that chose card number 4. I heard walking meditation, so that could be good for you too. I mean, I know we're focusing on the stillness, but I get some of you, your inability to stay still is like a trauma response. Yeah, it could be like a response, especially if you grew up like in an abusive environment. So you might be like a busybody, always moving around, because like growing up, maybe you were always trapped, you know, in that environment, and you couldn't leave when you really wanted to. But now you can, and you're like, oh, any opportunity that I can to be like away from my house. And this could be your own house that you even have for yourself. Your family don't even live there. You ain't got no memories of your childhood there, but you know, you have this subconscious imprinting that has taken place, right? So now you're like, look, I feel safer when I'm not at home. And that might be why some of you, like I said, you're very busy, all over the place. And I don't mean all over the place in a bad way either. You know, you just be, maybe you outside. Maybe outside was safer for you growing up. You know, maybe other people's homes, your friends' homes, or other family members' homes were safer for you. Maybe nature was safer for you. I heard the movies. Some of you might have, like, you know, when your parents were fighting or bad things were happening at home, you would like go to the movies. Let's get some tarot cards. We're going to get some additional guidance here. For those of you that chose card number 4, the amethyst. Here, I have one flip over, so I got to pull it out. Let's see what it is. King of Wands. Okay, so some of y'all could be talking to a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But yes, okay. This King of Wands is very empowered, assertive, direct, you know, just what we was talking about with this shark energy. You know, he got that dog in him, okay? In this deck, he got the big cat in him, the lions, the tigers, you know, Black Panther, all that shit. But, yeah, like there's someone that got that dog in them. All right, man, woman, whatever you identify as, you are powerful as fuck. Whatever you have gone through that was meant to break you down, that was like meant to chip away at your sense of self-esteem, your sense of worthiness, your sense of identity, your sense of being lovable. Like, no, you are so much stronger than that. And with this King of Wands, it's like you're rising above the bullshit. You are very empowered here. Like I said, look, it's gonna be that motherfucking year where whoever did you dirty, yo, they finna pay the repercussions for that shit. I don't know if it was a fire sign. We had the 4 of Swords where you had to, you know, go into a lot of healing here. Yeah, that's going into that space of like mental rest as I was mentioning, that you're needing to prioritize here. In the stillness I receive, he's in a space of receptivity too. So there is a need for you to be still. Like I was saying, if it's 5 minutes a day, okay? You know, and in those 5 minutes, you're being intentional about just kind of being open to the wisdom, the guidance, the insight, the clarity, you know, whatever it is that you need. Set that intention, you know, before you go into the quiet time. So you're, you know, not just out here just doing this shit for no reason. You know, some days your intention is going to be like, hey, I need some clarity about what I need to do with my career, with my business. Should I move? Should I be in this relationship? Some days, you know, the intention is just going to be like, yo, I just need to like clear my mind and just be still. Okay. But I want you to get into that practice too. You know, not just doing the quiet time, but setting the intention for why you're doing the quiet time every day. Okay. Because the intention is going to change is what I'm getting. As it should, you know, it should support you in a natural way, right? So yeah, some of you could be getting into counseling, therapy. I always see the Four of Swords as that. That might be the courage you're needing. That's where some of you are needing to drop the pride and feeling like ain't no therapist finna tell me about what I don't know or what I already know about myself. I'm like, you didn't go to school for therapy. I guarantee you there are things that they learned that you don't know. Okay, so let's not do that. You wouldn't want somebody, whatever your job is, you wouldn't want them telling you like, oh, I'm an expert and I know more than you. Like, no. Okay. So same thing with a therapist. No, you can't be your own therapist, especially more so if you are not a fucking professional licensed therapist. You ain't nobody's goddamn therapist. Okay. I don't care how many people's advice that you've given to and that's great. And I'm not saying that's not invaluable or not valuable, but you know, it's a different kind of learning that people go through. You know, people that choose to really like, you know, commit to bettering the psychological wellness of people, you know, that's a science to that. And yeah, so I think it's really important for some of you to maybe recognize that too, if that's been kind of holding you back. Like, I don't want to talk to no shrink. And, you know, what do they know? All they do is just sit and listen to you talk. They do more than that, okay? Like, I went to therapy off and on for maybe about 3 years, and I don't regret it ever. Not a single moment have I ever regretted going to therapy. It's been only helpful for me. I will say it took a minute for me to find the right therapist. And I will say, don't let that deter you. You might not find the right therapist the first time around. I connected with a couple of different therapists just throughout the years, you know, before I got really serious and was like, I want to go to therapy consistently, you know, every other week type of thing. And yeah, like eventually I found a therapist that I connected with, and I was like, damn, I like this lady. And, you know, that's the lady that I've been working with for the past 3 years. Like I said, 3-4 years, like off and on, you know, sometimes I'll go for several months and then she'll be like, all right, you're good. You know, you've got the tools you need to kind of navigate life on your own. And then, hey, I might have a major life event and it's like, okay, I need to see my therapist again. So that's what it's there for. I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions about therapy. A lot of people feel like you got to be in therapy for the rest of your life. No, you don't. I really actually don't think that's what therapy is for, unless you're dealing with like more severe like mental illnesses. That's more so psychiatry as well. So there's a difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist, okay? And most therapists are just psychologists. And not saying just psychologists, like that's nothing, because what they do is a lot. But a psychiatrist, they work a little more with mental illness, diagnosing, medication, stuff like that, okay? A psychologist / therapist, they're gonna sit, let you talk, cry about stuff, you know, maybe if you get a little mad, you know, hey, different emotions come up during therapy, right? So yeah, I really encourage some of you to explore your options. And like I said, to not let anything deter you from following through with your healing. It's so easy, yeah, to like just be like, ah, man, I'm not finding someone that I'm connecting with or whatever. Some of y'all need to ask around. Stop being so prideful where you don't want to tell your friends, like, hey, I'm actually looking for a therapist. I'm looking to maybe work through some things from my childhood, or I'm looking to address some things when it comes to relationships or lifestyle choices I make, whatever. You'll be surprised. Somebody that might be like, yo, I just started going to therapy like 6 months ago, and I've got this great therapist. I'll give you their information. And also, the thing with therapy too, is literally against the law for them to share anything that y'all talk about in therapy. Unless it's like, I think something that might like cause harm or some shit. I don't know. But it's like, I say that for those of you that like, I don't want to get a recommendation from a friend and then the therapist is going to be telling my business to the friend. Like, no, that's literally illegal for them to do so. And they can lose their licensing if anything like that happens. So most therapists take their jobs really seriously, and they take confidentiality very seriously as well. I know my therapist, oh my gosh, she was so serious about it when I was trying to get like paid leave off from work and they were requesting like all my therapy documents. She was like, I don't want to give them to them. They're like, they don't need to read them. Like, she was so protective of me. And, once again, I was just grateful to have crossed paths with a really great therapist. And I'm here maybe to share my experience with you all. To continue that search if you haven't found that person yet, but there are some things that you're needing a little assistance in working through. We don't get a manual in elementary school, college, high school, none of that about how to do shadow work, about how to heal, okay? So it's okay if you need some help in figuring out how to heal, right? With the Eight of Pentacles, this is about being consistent with the healing too, with whatever your practice is. If it's the quiet time every day, right? If it's journaling every day, if it's going to therapy every other week, I don't know, like being a part of a spiritual community or something where you're doing something for your mind, for your emotions, like for your spirit. These are all really important for you. For some of you, you might have some resistance when it comes to discipline. This could go back to the King of Wands. Some of you had a pretty volatile, maybe a fire sign, like father. Even if they weren't a fire sign, they were a very fiery person, okay? So some of you had like this very volatile, maybe controlling, authoritative figure in your life. And I think that might be why you're so resistant when it comes to discipline now, because this person tried to like get you in line, like, like fucking herding you like you some fucking cattle or some shit, or tame you like a wild animal. I don't know what this person had going on. And now you're in a space where you're like, yeah, fuck all that. Like, fuck discipline, rules, restrictions, control, like routines. I don't need none of that. All right. But actually you do. You just didn't need it in the way that person was trying to exert it, over your life. So this is also something that you guys are going to be kind of mastering here this upcoming year with the Jupiter and Gemini transit, embracing discipline. That's why I think I use the word devotion. That's what this would be, a daily devotion, a ritual. That's what rituals are. It's not just lighting candles and doing spiritual baths. A ritual has no inherent spiritual connotation. We just tend to associate it with spiritual things. But a ritual for me could be smoking weed every day. That's a fucking ritual. Rolling up my joint and smoking weed. Taking a bike ride, during sunset. That's a ritual, okay? Spending time cuddling with your dog or something every day. That's a ritual. So there's a need for you to kind of establish some healthy rituals in your life with this Jupiter and Gemini transit that could also benefit you financially. Yeah, come on, benefit you financially. The Wheel of Fortune that just dropped out of the deck. Here come them benefits. Okay? Them residuals, them dividends, they coming. In stillness, I receive. You don't even have to go out and get it either. You could just stay still. For many of you, it's just, you know, you might be thinking you're having to exert a lot of the external work, but really what you need to be focused on more is the internal work. That's where your growth, your expansion is going to come from. You know, sifting through your psyche and what's going on in there and your life experiences and how you think and view the world and how you view people and just, you know, all of that stuff. Get into that, because once you start moving things around within your psyche, you're going to start moving things around within your physical life, okay? And for many of you, you're going to start seeing things moving around when it comes to your abundance, your prosperity, your success. Ashe. Come on. Underneath the deck, okay? Big theme, the Tower. Card number 3, they got this. You guys actually have similar messages. I won't say they were all similar. I feel like 1 and 2 were different in their own way. But 3 and 4, I do feel like you guys have a similar message. So you might want to watch number 3 as well. But the Tower is, yes, like crumbling the old way of doing things. As I was saying, for many of you, this restlessness, this like, I gotta be out, I gotta be gone, I can't sit still. Unpacking that, you know, why am I like this? Why have I, you know, and for some of you, shit, it might be as simple as, yeah, I got ADHD, you know, go get your diagnosis or whatever. You know, for others of you, it might not be. It might be a little more complex. It might be, you know, some sort of PTSD, something trauma related here. Okay, but it is going through a transformation. It's crumbling down here so you can build up something new. And what you're building is this Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this Tower, oh yeah. Things are coming crumbling down. Like I said, especially for those of you that are exposing people, oh, they shit coming toppling down. P. Diddy, Love, Combs, whatever the fuck, count your days, sir, because it ain't looking too good for you and anybody else that's like on the wrong side of things. Like, y'all can definitely be expecting this Tower, and this is everything falling down, right? What do they say, Babylon falling or some shit? Like, basically, some of you, I don't know, somebody could be tapped into the industry or something for sure, and they're seeing like a lot of like powerful people just falling down, falling to the wayside. This might be something in your corporation, the business company you work for. Somebody at the top, CEO or some shit, might be getting fired. You know, look, it can be some sort of scandal going on. You know, child, y'all ringing a little, a lot coming through here, okay? But with that being said, y'all, I'm going to wrap up this reading here. If this resonated, card number 4, please leave me a comment below. Let me know what stood out to you the most. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye.